Have you ever stood beside someone who spoke kindly, smiled warmly, and yet, something inside you whispered that something was off? Maybe they said all the right words, maybe they acted as if they cared, but your body tensed, your chest tightened, and your instincts told you, be careful. We often dismiss these feelings as paranoia or oversensitivity. But Carl Jung, one of the greatest explorers of the human mind, would say otherwise. He believed that what we call intuition is often the psyche recognizing what the conscious mind cannot yet explain. And what is it that we sense? The shadow. The shadow, according to Jung, is the hidden side of the personality. It is everything a person refuses to acknowledge in themselves: anger, envy, hostility, greed, but which still exists, pressing from below the surface. Because we cannot simply erase these traits. What we repress does not vanish. It waits. It leaks. It disguises itself. And when someone around you secretly harbors hostility toward you, they rarely announce it openly. Instead, it slips out in subtle ways: a sarcastic comment, a forced smile, a faint tone of indifference when you succeed. Their words say one thing, their energy says another. And your unconscious notices. Why we miss the signs? So why do we often ignore these signals? Because the modern world teaches us to value politeness over perception. We are told to trust appearances, to take people at their word, to ignore the irrational warnings of the body. But Jung knew better. He said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. The unconscious communicates through instincts, through impressions, through the gut feelings we struggle to rationalize. And if we learn to listen, we can recognize when someone's mask is hiding something darker. Hidden hostility, the psychology. When people dislike you, when they envy you, when they resent you, they rarely confess it directly. Why? Because hostility threatens their self-image. Most people like to think of themselves as good, kind, supportive. To admit hatred or jealousy would shatter this mask. So instead, the hostility goes underground, it becomes part of the shadow. But even buried, it does not disappear. Jung insisted, the shadow is a living part of the personality. It acts. It influences. It seeps out. So how do we recognize it? The subtle signals. This is where awareness matters. Hidden hostility is rarely shouted. It's whispered in the smallest details. In jokes that humiliate, in advice that weakens instead of strengthens, in a smile that doesn't reach the eyes. And when you ignore these signals, you leave yourself vulnerable. You allow relationships that drain you, colleagues that sabotage you, friends who quietly resent you. But when you learn to see the shadow, you are no longer deceived. You gain clarity. You reclaim power. The promise of this journey. In this video, we will explore 8 signs that someone close to you secretly harbors hostility, even when their words and behavior suggest the opposite. Some of these signs are obvious once you know where to look. Others are so subtle that once you see them, you may never look at certain people the same way again. And be careful, because sign number 8 is the most insidious of all. It hides in the body, in unconscious gestures, in fleeting micro-expressions that betray what words conceal. Once you recognize it, masks will fall before your eyes. But before we dive into these signs, remember, the shadow does not belong only to others. It belongs to you as well. The same hidden forces you sense in others live within your own unconscious. That is why Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. By seeing the shadow outside, you are invited to face it inside. Suspense for the next block. So let's begin. The first 3 signs will show you how hostility leaks through everyday interactions, jokes, accidents, and silent competition. They may seem harmless at first, but together they reveal an unmistakable pattern, the shadow at work. Stay with me, because once you know these signs, you will never again confuse false friendliness with true loyalty. Hidden hostility rarely appears as open aggression. Most people are too concerned with appearances to reveal their resentment directly. Instead, it seeps out in subtle, disguised forms, so subtle that if you're not paying attention, you will miss them. Let's begin with the first 3 signs. Sign 1, humor that wounds. Laughter is supposed to connect us. But sometimes, laughter is a blade. Have you ever noticed someone making jokes at your expense, always touching on sensitive points, always leaving you a little smaller than before? They smile as they say it, the people around chuckle, but inside you feel the sting. And if you dare confront them, they retreat behind the shield of irony. Don't be so serious. It was just a joke. You really can't take a little humor? But deep down, you know it wasn't harmless. Carl Jung explained that sarcasm is often a projection of the shadow. People use irony to externalize what they refuse to admit in themselves. The one who mocks your ambition may be secretly jealous of their own lack of progress. The one who ridicules your sensitivity may fear confronting their own repressed emotions. The one who jokes about your failures may be trying to soothe their own sense of inadequacy. When humor leaves you feeling humiliated instead of uplifted, when the jokes always target the same wounds, you are not laughing with a friend. You are standing before their shadow. Sign 2, subtle sabotage. Not all hostility shouts. Some whispers and small acts of forgetfulness. You tell a colleague about a project, and they forget to pass you a crucial detail. A friend gives you advice that, instead of helping, quietly leads you astray. A family member always seems to misplace something important at just the wrong moment. Once, you think, coincidence. Twice, you think, mistake. But 3, 4, 5 times? Now it's a pattern. Jung believed that when people cannot face their own failures, they unconsciously seek to pull others down. The shadow cannot tolerate your growth, because your success reflects back their stagnation. So instead of celebrating you, they sabotage you. Not with overt attacks, but with accidents that erode your path little by little. This kind of sabotage is difficult to confront, because it wears the mask of innocence. If you call it out, they deny it. Oh, I didn't know. I just forgot. I was only trying to help. But unconscious hostility is still hostility. And repeated sabotage is not a mistake, it is the shadow, trying to keep you small. Sign 3, the silent rival. Perhaps one of the most draining forms of hidden hostility is competition disguised as friendship. You share good news, and instead of genuine joy, you hear, "That's nice, but let me tell you what I did." Every achievement you mention is met with one of theirs, bigger, better, louder. Every victory you celebrate is immediately minimized, compared, or overshadowed. This is silent rivalry. Jung observed that people often project onto others the qualities they lack or suppress within themselves. When someone cannot celebrate you, it is often because your light exposes their shadow. They do not hate your success. They hate what it reminds them about themselves. Your courage reminds them of their fear. Your progress highlights their stagnation. Your joy confronts their hidden despair. And so, instead of clapping for you, they compete with you. Instead of admiring, they compare. But here's the paradox: true confidence never needs comparison. Only insecurity competes with everything it sees. The pattern behind these signs. At first glance, sarcasm, sabotage, and rivalry may look unrelated. One sounds like humor, another like accident, another like pride. But beneath them is the same root, shadow projection. The person is confronted with parts of themselves they cannot accept. Instead of integrating those parts, they disown them and project them onto you. You become the screen where their unconscious plays its movie. They laugh at you to soothe their envy. They sabotage you to protect their ego. They compete with you to mask their inadequacy. And the more they refuse to face themselves, the more these signs will repeat. Jung's warning. Jung warned us, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. But the reverse is also true. Everything that irritates others about you may reveal their shadow. If you notice patterns of sarcasm, sabotage, and rivalry around you, it may not be about your flaws at all. It may be about the wounds they refuse to face in themselves. These first 3 signs already reveal much about hidden hostility. But hostility doesn't always come in the form of attack. Sometimes, it comes dressed as affection. Sometimes, it hides behind smiles, advice, and words of concern. And that is what we will uncover next, the shadow that disguises itself not in cruelty, but in care. Because the most dangerous hostility is not the one that insults you. It's the one that pretends to love you while slowly draining your strength. Not all hostility comes through mockery or rivalry. Some of the most dangerous forms of resentment come dressed as kindness. A smile that hides envy. Advice that weakens instead of strengthens. Support that disappears when you need it most. Carl Jung explained that the shadow is never content with silence. Even when denied, it finds clever disguises. And one of its favorite masks is false care. Let's explore the next 3 signs. Sign 4, kindness without depth. At first glance, these people seem friendly enough. They say the right words, maintain the right posture, and offer surface-level encouragement. But look closer. Notice what happens during key moments of your life. When you succeed, their congratulations feel hollow, forced. Their enthusiasm is weak or absent. When you struggle, their empathy is shallow, they minimize your pain, change the subject, or vanish altogether. It's not that they attack you. It's that they don't stand with you. Jung called this a form of ego dissociation, the psyche's way of cutting off uncomfortable emotions. Instead of feeling joy for you or grief with you, they detach, leaving a void. But make no mistake, that void speaks. It says, I cannot celebrate you, because your success confronts my failure. I cannot comfort you, because your pain reminds me of mine. True friends are there in light and in darkness. False kindness evaporates when it costs them something real. Sign 5, control disguised as concern. Have you ever met someone who constantly tells you what's best for you? They criticize your choices, question your decisions, doubt your capacity. But always under the mask of care. They say, I just want what's best for you. Or, I'm only trying to protect you. But instead of feeling supported, you leave the conversation feeling smaller, weaker, less sure of yourself. This is not guidance. This is control. Jung observed that the urge to dominate others often arises from a failure to dominate oneself. Those who cannot manage their inner chaos try to control the world outside. So they dress their insecurity as advice. They cloak their fear in concern. But the truth is simple, their words make you dependent, not empowered. And here lies the test, genuine care strengthens you. False care makes you doubt yourself. If you leave their presence more insecure than before, beware. You may be dealing with shadow disguised as love. Sign 6, gossip in the shadows. Not every hostile person will confront you to your face. Many prefer the shadows. Instead of criticizing you directly, they whisper behind your back. They distort your words. They magnify your flaws. They seed doubt in others' minds while maintaining innocence before you. The cruelest part? Often, you don't notice until it's too late, when friends grow distant, when colleagues treat you differently, when opportunities quietly vanish. This is the poison of gossip. Jung explained that those who feel inadequate often seek to restore balance by lowering others. By discrediting you, they temporarily relieve their own sense of inferiority. But remember this, gossip says more about the speaker than the target. Every malicious word reveals the shadow they cannot accept in themselves. And here lies the paradox. The more they try to stain your image, the more they reveal their own. The hidden cost of false care. What unites these three signs, superficial kindness, control as concern, and gossip, is that they all pretend to be something they are not. They wear masks. They maintain appearances. They let the shadow slip out, but never directly. And this is what makes them so dangerous. Open hostility can be confronted. But hidden hostility forces you to doubt yourself. It confuses you. It drains you slowly, like poison in small doses. Jung warned that the unconscious, when denied, will always find expression. And when that expression is hidden, it becomes manipulative. It shapes relationships not through honesty, but through pretense. The shadow's clever disguise. Think of it this way, the shadow is like a thief. It knows it cannot storm through the front door. So it sneaks in quietly, disguised as a guest. The sarcastic joke? That's a thief with a mask of humor. The sabotaged plan? A thief pretending to be forgetful. The false friend? A thief wearing the mask of kindness. But once you recognize the disguise, the thief loses its power. And yet, as subtle as these behaviors are, there are signs even more insidious. Because the shadow does not only speak in words. It speaks in silences. It reveals itself not just in actions, but in reactions, especially when you succeed. And sometimes, the shadow leaks where words cannot cover it, in the body itself. In glances, in tones, in expressions too quick to hide. In the next part, we will uncover the final two signs, the inability to rejoice in your victories, and the unconscious betrayals of the body. These signs are the hardest to disguise, and once you see them, you cannot unsee them. We've seen how sarcasm, sabotage, rivalry, false kindness, controlling advice, and gossip reveal hidden hostility. But the shadow doesn't stop there. It also appears in the most critical moments, when you succeed, and when someone can no longer control their body. These last two signs are the most revealing, because they break through every mask. Sign 7, the absence of joy in your success. One of the clearest tests of someone's heart is how they react when you shine. When you fail, many will comfort you. When you're weak, many will offer support. But when you succeed, only true allies celebrate with genuine joy. The hostile shadow cannot. Notice carefully, you share good news, and instead of excitement, there's a pause. A flat "that's nice." A quick subject change. Or worse, an attempt to minimize your accomplishment. Well, it's not that big of a deal. I did something like that years ago. You could have done better. This inability to rejoice is not random. Jung explained that when people refuse to confront their own shortcomings, the achievements of others feel like a wound. Your light casts a shadow they cannot bear. Their annoyance at your success is not about you, it is about what your success mirrors back to them. And here lies the truth, those who cannot celebrate you, secretly resent you. Sign 8, the body betrays the shadow. Words lie. Masks deceive. But the body never forgets. Jung often said that the unconscious leaks through gestures, slips, and silences. You can rehearse your smile, but you cannot fake the micro-expression that flashes for a split second when jealousy stabs the heart. Watch closely. A forced smile that doesn't touch the eyes. Hands that stiffen when you speak of your victories. A sudden change in voice when they offer a compliment. Eyes that avoid yours in key moments. These details are easy to dismiss, but they are the truest signs. Because the unconscious always speaks through the body. Someone may say, "I'm happy for you." But their tone, their posture, their eyes whisper the opposite. And your intuition notices, even if your mind doubts. This is why you've felt discomfort without knowing why. Your unconscious registers what their unconscious cannot fully hide. And this is the most insidious sign of all. Because it reveals what lies beneath every word, every mask, every performance, the truth of the shadow. The pattern behind all 8 signs. Now let's step back. What do all these signs have in common? Sarcasm, sabotage, rivalry, false kindness, controlling advice, gossip, absence of joy, and body language, all are projections of the shadow. Jung taught that the parts of ourselves we refuse to see are the ones that rule us from below. And when those denied parts are aimed at you, they appear in these subtle, hostile forms. The person doesn't fully know why they do it. But their unconscious knows. And so does yours. What this means for you. Here's the uncomfortable truth: hidden hostility around you is inevitable. Wherever there are shadows unacknowledged, there will be masks and betrayals. But you have a choice. You can ignore the signals, pretend not to see, and keep yourself vulnerable. Or you can awaken. You can learn to trust your intuition, to notice the patterns, to confront reality as it is, not as others pretend it to be. And when you do, you are no longer deceived by empty smiles. You no longer waste years in relationships that quietly corrode you. You no longer confuse false loyalty with true friendship. Awareness is your shield. Jung's final reminder. Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." The same is true here. Until you recognize the shadow in others, you will call it bad luck, betrayal, or disappointment. But once you see it for what it is, you reclaim your power. The shadow cannot deceive the one who sees. So ask yourself, who around you shows these signs? Whose laughter wounds instead of heals? Whose advice weakens instead of strengthens? Whose smile hides resentment too deep to disguise? You already know. Your body already told you. The question is, will you listen? If this video helped you recognize these patterns, write in the comments, "I choose awareness." Let's build a community of people who no longer walk blind through the games of the unconscious, but choose clarity, strength, and freedom. And don't forget to subscribe for more explorations into Jung's psychology, because the shadow is vast, and learning to see it may be the most powerful transformation of your life.